Hey everyone, I'm Michelle Carre and welcome to Your Delicious Life, where each week we take a look at life from a different perspective and we either learn something new or we get reminded of something that we already knew. This week's episode is called Focus on What Matters Most. Now, this is a message that I share on a really broad perspective, especially in the workshops and when I'm speaking, because ultimately, if you want to live the life that you envision for yourself, you have to focus on what is most important to you so that you can do that. But this works all the way down to our everyday tasks and what we're taking on in each day. We have to focus on what matters most so we get the important stuff done. So I want to talk about work today and this idea of focusing on what's most important. When it comes to work, it's easy for us to be distracted. Now, some of those distractions can feel like we can't control them. Someone knocks on your door, comes into your office, comes into your business, your phone rings, you get a text, an email, a social media message, lots of incoming distractions. But we can control those. We can do things like close our office door, maybe put up a sign and say, please do not disturb until a certain time, or talk to your coworkers and say, look, I need to focus on this project, so until 11 o'clock, I can't have any meetings or conversations with anyone. I'm willing to bet that they would respect that for you. The other thing we can do is, of course, turn off the notifications on our phone, so it's not always dinging and buzzing and beeping. One thing that I sometimes do is airplane mode, which turns off all signal. So nothing can get through to me and I can really focus and not get distracted by something. Now, sometimes that can be a bit tough because maybe you want to make sure that if your partner needs to get a hold of you, they can, or the kid's school, or your boss, or an employee. Maybe there's certain people that you would want to be able to get a hold of you if you absolutely needed it. So a great option for that is the do not disturb, because you can actually select certain people that are allowed, I guess, if you will, to get through to you even when your phone's on do not disturb. So if there was an emergency, you would be notified. And you can actually set it, if I'm correct, that if the same number calls twice, it'll actually come through the second time. So if someone was trying to get a hold of you, they weren't on the list, but they called a couple of times, it would actually ring through. So there's ways to manage those distractions, but we also create a lot of our own distractions. So maybe you're trying to do something, work on a project, and you need to reference an email that was sent to you. So you go into your email, but then all of a sudden you're sucked down the rabbit hole of, I'll just quickly save that document and then I can delete the email, or I'll send a quick reply to this one, or this email is just about an ad for something, I'm just going to delete it. And next thing you know, you're cleaning out your inbox and you're going through it instead of just accessing the one email that you needed for the project. So we do have to build a certain amount of discipline around our own actions so that we can stay focused. One of the ways that we can help ourselves to stay focused is to use a block time schedule. So if you have a project or something that really needs your attention, block your schedule for an hour and try to just do work on that project specifically for 45 to 50 minutes. No interruptions, no breaks, you're just working on that task at hand. And then those last few minutes of that hour are for you to stop and take a break. Because if you're really focusing on something, it can be draining mentally. So it's important to take those breaks. Now, if you have a bigger project and you want to focus on it for 3 or 4 hours in a day, still follow that same timeline. Work for 45 minutes, 50 minutes, take a break, go back to it, take a break, go back to it. Now, we all have different rhythms. So maybe you can go 60 minutes or maybe even 90 minutes before you need a break. Maybe you can only go 30 minutes before you just need to stand up, stretch your legs, and sit back down and go back to work. You have to figure out a rhythm that's going to work for you. But ultimately, when we do these time blocks, it does help us focus in on it because it's shorter amounts. It's not we're spending the entire day on this project. We're just focusing for 45 minutes and then we're going to take a break. And then we're going to see what the next 45 minutes brings. And when we move it down to smaller chunks, we tend to become more efficient and more deliberate in what we're doing in that time. As you're working on projects, it's only natural that these little reminders are going to pop up in your head. And I always reference pop-up video. I don't know if you remember that show at all. I think it was on MTV or Much Music, I don't know which, in the 90s. But they would play music videos and they would have all these little pop-up bubbles with little facts about the video, like that guy is actually the assistant director's wife, or they were on set for 14 hours, or this is actually grape juice, not wine, or whatever kind of stuff they had in there. Anyways, I always loved it. I thought it was really entertaining. But sometimes I feel like I'm living in my own pop-up video and I'm working on a task or a project and something else pops into my head and reminds me about something else that needs to get done. Now, maybe it's just a cursory glance across my desk and I haven't moved things so that I'm not distracted by visuals. And I think, oh yes, I have to mail that letter or that thing today. Or it could be just I'm working on the project and it's related to something similar that also needs to get done. So I have this little pop-up bubble in my head about that task that needs to get done. So in order to manage that, because it's going to happen, we're constantly thinking, lots on our brains. In order to manage that, you need some sort of a system because it is going to happen. No matter how well you plan your time and block your time, you're going to have these things pop in your head. So some really good options are, one, pen and paper. If you are old school, you have a notebook or a day timer, and you just have a couple of pages dedicated to you capturing notes. You're not taking any action. You're just writing down the thing that popped into your head that you need to take action on. The other thing that I use is an app called Todoist. This is an awesome app because it's really simple, user-friendly, and you can categorize your to-dos. So you can put it towards, a particular part of your business or a project if you're working on it. You can have a category for maybe each of your kids or just kids in general. It could be errands. If you're running errands and you think, okay, I need to go run all of these, where are all the places I need to stop? You could do grocery lists that way. You can organize it in any way you want to, but I like the app because it's simple, it's uncluttered, and I didn't spend 4 hours setting up a productivity tool to never really use it. So it's a great tool in that sense. And of course, there's lots of other apps as well. I think there's built-in apps right on the iPhone. I'm sure there's Android ones as well. But the trick is to just find something that actually works for you. You don't want a system that causes you more grief because you have to color code and put in 17 different inputs just to capture it. You want something that's quick and easy and that you can easily access and go back to when the time is right. So part of having focused work time is, of course, blocking the time to do it, but also having a way to capture the distractions that will inevitably come up. These ideas and tricks can apply to anyone. So if you are, say, working full-time now, or you're an entrepreneur and you want to start a business, or maybe you have one business and you want to start a new business, then this is a great way to do that because entrepreneurs often are very creative, lots of mind, work going on, lots of thinking. So if you have a system where you go, okay, this 2 hours is dedicated to my new business or the idea that I want to launch, and then this time is dedicated to my current work and my current job, you can balance it a bit better. And then you feel like you are putting time and effort into both things right now because there might be a period of time where you do have to have both things on your plate. So it's a great way to manage it. Now, if you are maybe working full-time at a corporate job of some kind and you have projects on the go, this also works great for that because you probably have multiple things happening. Maybe you have a team of people that you are overseeing and you need to take care of in different ways. So those people themselves could be their own projects that need attention. So we can certainly schedule our time and manage these pop-ups that happen in any environment. And this also works for business owners or people who are in charge of their own schedule. Maybe you're commission sales or you just have a job that you can work from home and you select your own hours. If you use this block time scheduling, you'll get the work done, you're focused, and then you can go on and do whatever you want to do afterwards. But when we try and mix too much together, when we try and sit on the couch and do our work and have Ellen in the background, it takes you twice as long. So sit down, have the focus time, get the task done, and then you can walk away to the next thing. Because at the end of the day, if you're putting your time and your effort in these focused time blocks, what I want you to be able to do is walk away and go, yes, I put in good effort. I made progress towards my goals. I put effort into what matters most to me. And that's the point of having all of this block time and all these systems set up for yourself, so you actually make progress and you feel good about it. We all have the same amount of hours in the day, but it's up to you to focus on what's really important to you. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, yeah, I get that, block my time, have a system to capture these pop-up video bubbles that come in, but I'm not really sure I'm doing what's most important to me. I'm not really sure what I'm even spending my time on is actually serving the vision I have for my life. And I'm not sure my goals are in alignment with that. I would definitely invite you to check out the workshop that I'm doing on November 4th. It's here in Airdrie at Embrace Bridal Center. They have a beautiful space, event space there that we're going to be in. And it's going to be a 9 to 3 p.m. workshop where we are going to be able to focus on what it is that you want in your life and then set the goals for it. And we're actually going to do plans where we would plan out these block times so you can take action toward the goals that are in alignment with what you want out of your life. And we'll talk about lots of different systems, including the idea of the pop-up video management into one place and one location, so that you're feeling successful and you're feeling excited about your life. In the end, we're responsible to live the life that we envision. So this is a day for you to take that responsibility, to get clear about what you want, and then have a plan to make it happen. So I would love it if you would join us. I think it's going to be an amazing day, and I'm super excited about it. If you want more details, please go to michellecarre.com. Just click on workshops at the top of the page, and then as soon as you get there, you'll see Create Your Delicious Life, which is the name of the workshop, and all the details for purchasing your seat and what to expect throughout the day. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week for our next episode.